This is Locked On Bets, the daily betting show that means business from the Locked On Podcast Network. Hosted by Lee Sterling and Kevin Rogers, they're dropping fearless picks with an inside edge to put money in your pocket. If there's action, they've got the lock. This is where smart bets start. It's Locked On Bets.
Welcome to the Monday edition of Locked On Bets. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports with you. As always, we appreciate you making Locked On Bets your first listen of the day here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Another busy weekend in the books. We have two Monday night games this evening in the NFL. Bucs, Texans, Chargers, Raiders. We'll have plays for both those games coming up. Also a recap of the college football and NFL weekend. But before we get to all of that, we have plays for you. We have baseball tonight also. Braves and Nationals in D.C. and time for a hidden gem.
To find a diamond in the rough, you need to dig a little deeper for those hidden gems.
All right, let's begin with this National League East showdown, the Braves and the Nationals. I mean, the Braves, they were expected to do more, and they haven't. The Nationals not expected to do a lot. Washington's actually been okay down the stretch. They've been a little more competitive. I got to give them that. So we have a player prop tonight, Mitchell Parker. Don't call me Mitch, just Mitchell Parker on the mound tonight for the Nats. Lee, what do you have with him in a strikeout prop?
So, yeah, this is a hidden gem. You're getting close. You are right there. You're on the cusp of making a recording for our hidden gem. So I like Mitchell Parker a lot here in a different way, not in a good way. So Mitchell Parker pitches for a team no one follows the Nationals. If they tell you they're a Nationals fan, they definitely live in Washington. Their company has tickets. So this guy is so under the radar bad. 13 road starts, 6.20 ERA. That isn't bad enough. Only 13 strikeouts in 13 road starts. So 38 strikeouts and 13 road starts. The Braves actually have been swinging the bats well of late over the last couple of weeks, and I just don't expect him to be in the game long. You know, a lot of times he lasts 3-4 innings, and to expect a guy to get 4 or more strikeouts, I don't see it. So while everyone's playing the football games, and we're playing the football games, both of them, there's just something here. So just can't ignore it. Like I said, the last week is crazy. Baseball, we're not quite there yet. Got a couple weeks, 2 weeks left of the regular season. So this is a prop I like a lot, and get on it now because I think the sharps are going to get on it. Might move down to 3. So we're going to go with Mitchell Parker under 3.5 strikeouts, -135. That's going to be my hidden gem to start the week.
5 consecutive opposing starters facing the Braves, 2 strikeouts or less. So that's good. So they have not been striking out a lot against opposing starting pitchers. We'll see if that trend continues coming up tonight. We have more baseball to get to. Of course, we'll talk about the 2 NFL games this evening. But, Lee, let's look back at the weekend first to recap our plays here since we had a lot throughout the week. And finished just below the Mendoza line. As far as we've had a lot of winning weeks in the show, just a little bit below this past week. 4-6 with the football plays. Let's go over a couple of them right now. First of all, we always like to start with the good. The one you really nailed was University of Miami. The Canes just ran USF. Bulls played well the first 2 weeks of the season, beating Boise State and Florida, but the Canes were just on a different level. Carson Beck, a couple quick touchdown passes out of the gate, huge lightning delay. Delayed the game for nearly 2 hours, but the Canes, then after that, really no letdown and wire-to-wire win for them. They're now 3-0.
Yep, he's probably the best quarterback right now, college football, as far as especially of the highly rated guys. And I'm talking about, Arch Manning, Lenore Sellers, Cade Klubnik, Garrett Nussmeier, and Drew Allar. Only one of them covered again. The week before, none of the top 5 covered. Only one of the 5 covered again. So if you're betting these top teams based on what they told you in these publications, what you saw on TV, that these guys were going to be any one or most of them top 10 picks, well, last 2 weeks, you're 1-9 against the spread. And said Miami dominated that game. A lot of times after lightning break, you get sloppy and and you don't perform well, they are winning games mainly. Now, Carson Beck has been great. They're winning the battle in the trenches. Their offensive line might be the best in the country. They are blowing people off the line of scrimmage, and also the defensive line much, much improved. So they might lose a game or two, but they are that good in the trenches, and that's where you win championships.
A couple other winners from this past week from you, Lee. LSU and Tennessee. LSU ended up beating Florida Saturday night. Tennessee lost in overtime to Georgia, but still covered as a home dog. So just your thoughts on those two games.
So the LSU-Florida game, I think that Florida was the right side. Better team, had that long touchdown call back. 5 interceptions from your quarterback. You're not going to win or cover a game. So we won that game. It wasn't how I planned it. I thought Garrett Nussmeier was not great again. Just came up with the turnovers, and that was the main reason. And why do you see that from a team like Florida? Not a good coach, and a coach that might be on his way out very soon.
Now, as far as the Tennessee game, Tennessee was up for most of that game, and they just couldn't hold on, and they lost in overtime.
I thought they were the better team. I don't downgrade them on my power ratings at all because of that game. So, one play. When you lose a close game, and in that game, there was probably 6, 7, 8 plays that any one of those 6, 7, or 8 plays go their way, they win the game. I thought they were the better team. Somehow they lost the game. Nothing to be too upset about unless you're a Tennessee fan. They did cover, but I think Tennessee is a good team, and I like their quarterback.
Now, a couple of the losses, got to mention them too. Notre Dame and Pittsburgh. Notre Dame loses a shootout with Texas A&M at home. Pitt losing overtime to West Virginia. Again, two teams with opportunities, we just couldn't close them out.
Texas A&M, you got to give them credit. That quarterback and that team, I mean, they're down right off the bat. Block punt for a touchdown. Notre Dame came out ready to play. Really good game plan. I think it was something like Texas A&M. I know they've beaten some ranked teams on the road, but I think it was the first time like 40 or 50 years they beat a top 10 team on the road. So Mike Elko doing a great job. Love his top 2 receivers. They have some explosiveness. I've got to upgrade them on my power ratings a little bit. They're a team you got to watch out for. Who knows? They could end up winning the SEC. They have talent and they have the X factor now. So give them credit. Maybe outside of the win when Johnny Football was there, maybe the biggest win on the road in Texas A&M history. And then the other game, and it was actually my biggest play for my clients. I lost it. I gave out Pitt minus, at the time, 6.5 to 7. Everything went wrong in the game that could go wrong for Pitt. And they're still up 10 with 5 minutes to go. So what happens? Kick a field goal, West Virginia. Okay, gonna take the push, but then they drive down, could have kicked a field goal, tried the typical, we're gonna try to, get the defense to jump off sides on a 4th and 2, 4th and 3. And what happens? You're out of field goal range, you punt, they go the distance, they tie the game, win it in overtime. In fact, when I lose the bet, I want the other team to lose. Let me tell you something. Pat Narduzzi, horrible. I mean, in the past, he's been great, 15-4 as a road favorite, but there's a reason Pat Narduzzi, no one is knocking on his door in his 11th season for Pittsburgh, because he does not know how to win and coach big games. So we'll talk about an NFL game later. It's kind of the same thing, but that was the case. And I still think West Virginia stinks. I think they're terrible. I think that they're going to win maybe one more conference game, but I said the third string running back's no good. Well, no one had ever seen their 4th string running back, and he had a huge game, well above 100 yards and 3 touchdowns. So couldn't scout that. I'm looking at film. I still think Pitt is a much better team. They'll probably cover three of the next 4 weeks or all 4, and West Virginia will start losing. So just because you lose a bet, you don't get off the team. Just so happens I lost that bet. Everything that could go wrong went wrong.
Now over to the NFL. I had the Seahawks, and I liked them on the road. They were up early. Pittsburgh came back and took the lead, and Seattle steamrolled them. So that was a good win for them going out east. Now, as far as the game you just mentioned about coaching, you had Jacksonville, which it seemed like was going to not only just cover, but win the game outright against Cincinnati. Joe Burrow gets hurt. He's going to be out for a while now for the Bengals. So you have Jake Browning in there, the backup playing for Cincinnati, and he leads them to the victory. They win by 4. They cover as 3.5-point favorites. But what'd you think there about some of the coaching decisions late by Liam Cohen?
So let me give you a typical day in the NFL as a bettor. If you bet 3 games, average person usually bets like 3 games, and I happen to have 3 games yesterday. And I've explained this to my wife a few times. I think she's starting to get it now. You will have 1 game in the NFL. Now, the talent is very similar. It's just about execution. How do you execute the plays and making the decisions as far as coaching staffs in the last couple minutes? So you will generally have 1 game that you win or lose that's a winner or loser you can pretty much tell by halftime, early third quarter. You will have 2 other games where you're probably leading almost the entire game and you end up losing, and that was Jacksonville. Jacksonville never trailed in the game. What happened? They're up 3 points, have a 4th and 5 on the 7. Liam Cohen decides to go for it. So if he kicks the field goal, we're a 99.9% winner. The other team would have to score a touchdown. They'd have to have a fumble return or a pick 6 for a touchdown to beat us. Not happening. What does he do? He goes for it, doesn't get it. They end up Cincinnati driving down the length of the field, scoring with less than 20 seconds to go in the game, and you lose by half a point. So that was heartbreaking. And then the game I win looks like a loser the entire game, or at least after the first 2 series, is Carolina. Carolina fumbles on the first play, I believe, from on offense the entire game, and for a touchdown against you. Then the second or third play in the next series, interception, another touchdown. No, field goal. You're down 10-0. Never in the game, down 27-6, scored 2 backdoor touchdowns, and actually recovered an onside kick, had a chance to win the game. If you had the other side of that game, you had Arizona. That's typical Arizona. You know, they're not good as a home favorite, especially off of a win. Carolina gets the backdoor touchdown and wins the game. But you go either a lot of times 1-2 or 2-1, and you got to sweat out 2 of the 3 games in the last couple minutes.
It's just the NFL now. Everything you thought doesn't matter next week. It just turns that fast in the NFL. And that's why everybody loves it, I guess. So we still have a lot more to get to. We still have the 2 Monday night games to look at. Player prop in the Bucs Texans, and then Chargers Raiders aside in that one. Also another baseball play. All of that is straight ahead as we continue here on a Monday edition of Locked On Bets. Let's talk now about FanDuel, and we love FanDuel here on Locked On Bets, and the NFL season is here, 2 weeks in the books. FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. And there's so many great options because you have games. You could bet on Bucs Texans tonight, Chargers Raiders. You have 2 choices for excellent matchups. Side, total, money line, whatever you want to do. Also, player props, you could do that. Or if you want to try to attack some of the future bets, MVP on FanDuel, Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, 2 of the favorites there. No surprise. Ravens, Bills, 2 of the favorites to win the Super Bowl. No surprise there. And you can check those out as well as Rookie of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year. So many different choices you have at FanDuel. The games, the awards, the titles, all of that you can choose now at FanDuel. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. And right now you can place your first $5 bet. We continue here, Locked On Bets. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports with you. We'll get to the football games coming up in just a little bit. But first, one more baseball play, and it's a big one inside the National League Central tonight.
What the
WTF.
The Cubbies are going to the playoffs. We know that. It's just a matter of time before they clinch their berth as they head to Pittsburgh tonight to face the Pirates. And we always talk about Paul Skeens and how great he is, but there's a pitcher I want to tell you about. His name is Braxton Ashcraft, who is starting tonight for the Pirates. He's a short dog against Jamison Talion, former Pirate, now with the Cubs. Ashcraft, his last 5 starts in the first 5 innings, he's allowed a total of 3 runs. And he's a guy that, again, Skeens is head and shoulders the ace of the staff, but there are other pitchers they're trying to integrate and trying to get them in as number 2s and number 3s in the staff. He's been very good. The Cubs, not good from this standpoint. The first 5 innings, their last 14 road series openers, they're 2-12. So they have struggled early on in the first 5 innings. And I believe it's 8 times they've scored 1 run or less in the span in that first 5 innings in the road series opener. So let's go with the Pirates tonight as a short underdog, first 5 against the Cubbies at PNC Park.
I like it. Got to pick your spots. This might be the spot. And, Paul Skeens was at I believe he's at the LSU game with his girlfriend. So maybe he's a little bit distracted and pick up a winner here.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes with the Pirates tonight. And I think it's Roberto Clemente night as well. So they always do, the Pirates always do, like when Dave Parker passed away, they played well that weekend. They always step up, and at home, they've been very good down the stretch. All right, now let's look at Monday Night Football. And just quick note here, Lee, before we get into the analysis of Chargers-Raiders, that Kansas City lost on Sunday. So they are 0-2. And the winner of Chargers-Raiders will be 2 games up on the Chiefs through 2 weeks. I know there's a long way to go in the season, but that didn't seem like something we would talk about before the season began.
No, but it was possible. I mean, if you've been following and looking at the talent level and what they had in the schedule, they had to play the Chargers. Obviously, possible the Chargers could win, and they did. And then the Eagles, who were playing out just better than Kansas City, beat them again in KC. So KC has their work cut out for them. I still think they're a good team, a quality team, but Travis Kelce, difference between winning a game and losing a game, ball goes through his hands on the goal line, would have been touchdown or right there on the goal line, and return interception for 40 yards. And that's what changed the game. So that's the difference. We talked about not much difference last couple minutes of the game. I think there was 5, 6, 7 minutes ago in that game when that happened. But bottom line is Chargers and Denver. I mean, got to talk about that game for a second. That was crazy. They have the game won. They're 2-0. What does the defensive lineman do that's lined up on the guard? He slants in and hits the center as he snaps the ball on a 60-yard attempt. It was not going to be good, and they threw a 15-yard penalty, re-kick for 45 yards. Field goal is good. That's the difference between them 2-0 and 1-1, and that could cost them the division championship.
So with all that being said, let's get to tonight's blowout.
Oh, boy. Last one out, turn off the lights. This one's a blowout.
Always entertaining when the Chargers and Raiders get together. Home opener for Pete Carroll, now as the head coach of the Raiders, and Geno Smith, his first home game in Las Vegas. And Lee, what do you like here at the Chargers, a favorite on the road against the Silver and Black?
Well, 2 fun coaches to watch. Play with a lot of emotion. Their teams over the years have been successful, so their teams will be prepared. When I look at both teams, I think one team has the edge. Why? Well, let's look at the Las Vegas Raiders. Their best player, Brock Bowers, questionable. Game time decision. He is by far their best player. It's not even close. He is a monster. He's unguardable. He's a guy that can catch 10, 12 balls in a game, change the game. And if he's not 100%, not good for the Raiders. Also, running the ball in the first game. Only had 2 yards per carry for Ashton Genty. I think he's going to be a superstar. But I don't like their offensive line. I think their offensive line is subpar. And against the Chargers, really good front seven. I think they're in trouble. Also, Chargers, why are they going to be a good team now going forward? Offensive line and defensive line. Just like the University of Miami, you win games in the trenches, you're going to win a lot of games, and you're going to be a contender. They held the Chiefs, that first game in Brazil, 41 yards rushing on 10 carries. So that was impressive. And then you get to the quarterback, Justin Herbert. I think Geno Smith is good. I think he's, average for the NFL. I think that Justin Herbert is a cut above. We saw his kind of coming out party a little bit last year with not many good receivers. receiver group, much better this year, coached up by Jim Harbaugh. What does Jim Harbaugh do? Spends more time with the offense and the quarterbacks. I think he's gaining confidence. This will go down for many years for the Miami Dolphins, picking 2 ahead of Justin Herbert, one of the biggest mistakes. They knew they could pick one or the other. They picked the smaller, the more injury-prone, the quarterback with not as good an arm. They'll tell you that he had better accuracy, but, Justin Herbert also a good runner. So I like Justin Herbert. I think he is really elevating his game to the next level. I'm going to lay the 3 points. There are some 3.5s. There's some 3s. Shop around. Take the Chargers -3. It's going to be my blowout special.
Yeah, and let's see how the Chargers fare now after the Brazil game. And you win this, you're 2-0 already in the AFC West. So that's also very big if they can do that and pick up a win tonight in Las Vegas. Coming up, we'll look at the first game of the Monday night doubleheader. The Bucs and the Texans, they meet in Houston. Should be very entertaining with that one. And we have a player prop in that game, and that is straight ahead right here on Locked On Bets. Locked On Bets continues here on a Monday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. As the Buccaneers and the Texans, they will start things off tonight from Houston. Baker Mayfield had the big touchdown throw to beat Atlanta last week to give the Buccaneers a 1-0 record. Texans couldn't get their offense going against the Rams, so we'll see if they do it now at home. And it's time for the lock of the day.
Open it, open it, open it. Lee has the key to the lock of the day.
We had a side play on Chargers Raiders, but now we're going to shift over to a player prop. Nico Collins of the Texans. We'll see what he could do with CJ Stroud tonight. So, Lee, what do you like on Nico Collins as player prop?
All right. So, usually I like games better for my locks of the day, but there are special occasions, and this is one. And there's a lesson here as far as player props. Sometimes player prop is better than the game. And sometimes you can't, base your decision on what you saw last week. There's usually an overreaction, the most from one week to the next. I hear, in fantasy football, this star that I drafted in the first, second round didn't do good the first week. So I'm going to dump him if he has a bad second week, or I'm going to bench him. It's one game, maybe 2 tops. Nico Collins for the Houston Texans did not have a good game. First game. Why? Because the Rams have a good secondary. Now he's going to play against a team, not a great secondary here. So, in fact, Drake London for the Atlanta Falcons, who played against Tampa Bay, had 15 targets and 8 receptions against the Bucs. So Drake London is receiver number 1. Nico Collins is receiver number 1 and better. Nico Collins might be a top 5 receiver in the NFL. He is that good. I think that he's going to be motivated here. They're playing at home. I think his quarterback, I think they're going to throw the football tonight to set up the run. So you have to kind of figure out the way the game plan here is. So I think that being back home here, and I think, like I said, great matchup here. Hint, hint, this is going to be one of my player props for my clients here. Nico Collins over 76.5 receiving yards. It's going to be the level 2 lock to start the week. Love this here. Nico Collins. Got to get on this player prop right now.
Yeah, and the Texans want to avoid an 0-2 start. But the only good thing is that they start 0-2, they're against 2 non-conference teams. So at least they don't it doesn't hurt them the tiebreaker, but still they don't want to start 0-2 on the season. Lee, now we're starting another big week, and we turn the page to week 3 after tonight in the NFL, week 4 in college football. A lot of big games in college coming up later in the week. So what do you have going on with Paramount Sports?
Yep, so we are ready to go. Seen all these teams play enough. I think I have a real good handle on them. So, we're ready. You want to hop on board, get the rest of the season, $16.97. My football selections on my phone service, player props through the Super Bowl, just $5.97. Having a huge year there. And UFC takes a break. No UFC this weekend. So we're gonna be locked and loaded and ready to go on football. Got football tonight, Got football Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So you're not doing so well on your own, or whoever you're using isn't doing the job. Might want to take a look at us. Just one place, ParamountSports.com, or call me here. Love to speak to you about what I can do for you. 800-400-9741.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Locked On Bets, as well as our podcast version, Locked On Bets, you could find on your favorite audio platform. And you could find Lee at Paramount Sport, or on X at Paramount Sports, myself, Rogers Picks on X. And we'll be back with you coming up on Tuesday for another edition of Locked On Bets right here on the Locked On Podcast Network.